Members of the Druze religious community who were detained by Syrian government forces have been released. More than 100 people were killed during several days of fighting between members of the community and fighters last week. Druze leaders and the Syrian government have agreed on an immediate deal to halt the violence, but sticking points remain. Okay, we're now going to speak to Labib al-Nahhas, who's a Syrian political analyst and the director of the Syrian Association for Citizens' Dignity. Thanks for your time with us on Al Jazeera.
Thanks for having me.
So how fragile does this agreement remain, and what does a final agreement need to look like for the Druze community?
Well, I mean, we have to look at it as a part of a series of security unrest in Syria that has been going on since March, basically, starting with the events that took place, with the insurgency that happened in the coast. A similar event actually happened in the same area in Jaramana concerning Druze. So, and there has been an agreement before. So I think it's a very fragile agreement. There has some unclarity about some conditions. The implementation started today, yes, but Syrians are seeing it as a major caving in from the government, in a sense that ultimately the government will kind of finance the police, the security forces in the Sweda area, but they will be chosen by the Druze themselves, and there is some sense of kind of a federation kind of status for the area. A final agreement that has to be more of a holistic approach, where the government, the new government in Syria, will gain the trust of people across the board, minorities and majority. They should show some sort of affirmative action and assurance to the rest of the population that they are capable of unifying the country. They are capable of being resolute in front of similar actions that have been happening in Syria for the last 3 months.
How's it doing so far when it comes to gaining the credibility from the people and the trust of the people?
I think there's been a lot of missed opportunities in the last few months. If you remember, we had the National Dialogue Conference, and then we have the Constitutional Declaration. They both have seen as tools by the new government in order to get more authority, more control. People are looking for more inclusiveness. People are looking for more transparency. To be honest, the government is still being seen as a one-color government, HTS government. And definitely it's not helping, especially with the minorities, to gain the trust, to completely kind of reverse the legacy and the past that the group had. And that works equally negative at the international scene, in a sense that countries, governments, the West specifically, and the region as well, they're looking for deliverables, for results, for action on the ground, not just for the right narrative.
What about the narrative when it comes to Israel and what Israel is doing in Syria, right? It's already occupying parts of the country, claiming that it wants to protect the Druze community in Suwaida. At the same time, it continues its genocide in Gaza, of course.
Sure.
So what's it really trying to do in Syria, and what's it trying to achieve? And how has the Syrian government dealt with this, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, the claim that Israel is doing this to protect the Druze has to be really met with a high dose of skepticism and cynicism, because the Druze themselves in Israel are second-class citizens. So that's a major contradiction. In reality, what we're seeing is Syria is just an extension to what Israel has been conducting in the region after October the 7th. Israel right now is in its most expression of expansionism and hostility to neighbors. And they have decided to implement their security with their own hands, even through interventions and attacks in other sovereign countries. Israel is trying to reshape Syria in a way that Syria cannot become a threat to Israel, not only in the next few months, but in the next few decades. They carried out more than 800 airstrikes since the toppling of the regime, more than 200 attacks in Daraa. So basically what they're trying to do is to keep Syria divided, decentralized, weak government.
Is it trying to divide Syria? And
yes.
again, how is the Syrian government going to deal with this?
The Israeli finance minister said it very clearly, that the war will not finish until the partitioning of Syria. And the fact that Israel are using the Druze, to be honest, as a tool, as an instrument to keep that part away from being part of the entire country is just a testament to that, despite the fact, and it has to be said, that the vast majority of Druze are rejecting to be seen by Syrians as a fifth column and as an instrument in the hands of Israel. But the fact that Israel is supporting those actions is the only reason that emboldened those small factions within the Druze to take this kind of stance and to openly ask for international intervention and protection.
Okay, we've run out of time. We'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much, Labib al-Nahhas, for speaking to us here in Doha.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.